Let's call to order the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting for October 3rd, 2024. Let's do a roll call. Victoria Rizzo.
Present.
Woodrow Terrell. He called and said he was, or emailed said he was going to be sick, or he's sick, so probably isn't going to join us. I'm here. Carol Allen, she also is out. Excused. Twyla Harrington.
Present.
Mary Howell.
Here.
Sherry Winters.
Here.
Robbie Cantrell.
Here.
And Captain Bevins.
I'm
You're
here.
here.
Welcome back.
And that's it. So, okay. Let's see. Pledge of Allegiance. That.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Okay.
I was going to say ready to be an excuse to
I will open public comment on non-agenda items. If there's anyone that wishes to speak, please unmute, state your name and city of residence. Okay, seeing nobody in chambers and nobody online saying so, I will close public comment. Next item, approval of the August 1st, 2024 meeting minutes. Have you guys had a chance to look at it? Is anyone ready to make a motion?
This is Sherry. I asked Victoria that on page 2 of 4 of the minutes, the second entry says Victoria Rizzo asked how many times is someone able to choose deflection. I thought I asked that. Do you know, Victoria, did you ask it also?
I might have asked it also.
Okay, let's just keep giving credit to her.
Let's forget worrying about that, okay? I think the only correction I have is the guess that said Paul Wilcox, Troutdale residence, and Linda Mann. Linda Mann was my account. I had run a Zoom meeting earlier in the day with my friend's account name, so that's who it was actually me, so we need to strike that, it was me.
Where are you talking?
Pardon?
What page are you speaking?
It's on the front page, it
Oh.
says guess. I just happened to notice that right now, I'm like, Linda Mann, oh yeah, that's right, I was logged in as her. So
Oh,
that's what they
okay.
counted, and it was me, so,
As I remember, the Shelby was trying to change her name and couldn't get it to work.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so does anyone else have any other changes? I guess we. All right, and Robbie doesn't have any, and, okay. So.
So Sherry, I make a motion to approve the minutes,
Okay.
the August 1st minutes.
This is Twyla, I second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Agenda item number 4, okay. Moving on, number 5, review of monthly law enforcement reports from September. And so we have Captain Bevins here today, so welcome. We appreciate that you're here. So you have the floor.
All right, well, thank you. So I think most of you know me. If you don't, I'm Steve Bevins. I began my career as a City of Fairview officer in 1998. And I transferred to the City of Troutdale in 2000 as a Troutdale police officer. I was promoted to sergeant in 2002. And in 2015, I was part of the merge with the sheriff's office. I went over as a sergeant. I started I was a patrol sergeant, and then I applied for and got the community resource sergeant. I started our HOPE team, our homeless outreach team, and I've worked in most of the units through the sheriff's office through the years. I got promoted to lieutenant and then captain. I've done patrol, river patrol, training unit, search and rescue, just a whole bunch of stuff. It's been a great experience. I love it. My daughter is a deputy here. She's doing great. She's been here a couple years. She is a swing shift patrol deputy. She actually works the city of Troutdale district a lot. She has some connection with Troutdale for some reason. So I just left the river patrol. It's kind of a long story. This isn't the proper venue for me to get into it because I don't know all the facts, but I was asked to come back to patrol, so I am back here. There were several captain moves that happened last week. So I'm back to patrol. I'm happy. I'm good with that. I know Ray. I've known Ray Young for a long time. Him and I work great together. I have been part of this group before, several years ago. So I'm trying to remember how everything works. So if you have any questions later on, I am an open book. I am more than happy to answer anything for you. I did ask for one of our lieutenants, which is Jen Chauvinashu, to come to our meeting tonight because she is a lieutenant at the River Patrol. She is part of the Sheriff's Office purchasing, training, and developing our drone program. And so she would like to talk to you about the drone program. It's a very short presentation. She doesn't want to go into great detail, but the drone program is something that we have needed for years and we haven't gotten. So we're really pushing hard for it. It will definitely help the city of Troutdale. So I'd like to have her do a quick presentation because she has things she has to do tonight, and then I can continue. That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Again, my name is Jennifer Chibinashu. I'm a law enforcement lieutenant and I'm currently assigned to the River Patrol, and I also manage the civil unit as well. So I just wanted to kind of go into a little bit of detail about the drone. So this is 5 years ago. Myself and some other people were tasked with kind of looking into and developing a drone program. It's just taken a long time to get it approved with the sheriffs throughout the years, but also just like finding the right system. And also it's kind of been nice that we've waited a little bit because everybody else around us has drones and we're going to learn from them. So a couple months ago, I was able to kind of hone down on what kind of drones we're getting. And we're at the stage right now where we might be purchasing them pretty soon. Also, you might be seeing them out in the community. So if you haven't seen them already, we've been borrowing Gresham's team for our searches whenever we have a certain search to come help us, and they've been awesome partners with us. We just want to get around drones. So we're starting kind of small because we don't really have it yet. We don't have a program yet. We're trying to learn to see if small is going to be good enough or if we need more. So as of current, what I'm suggesting is to purchase 6 drones. 2 are FLIR camera on them so that you can find people like in the woods with the body heat. 2 of them are going to have excellent cameras on them for crash team reconstructions, and also for if we're out and about trying to search for a person running away from a car or running away from a situation, there's a camera on them. And then also 2 smaller drones that are going to be for building searches, or again, if somebody runs from a car, they're much faster to deploy, but also they're much faster to get around little things as opposed to us running around. We're still going to be out there, obviously, but it's a couple of justifications for why we're getting drones is you're saving time and money. Instead of putting up a plane that costs tons of money with fuel, we still have the plane. We're going to be able to deploy these very less expensive mini aircrafts, right, to go and do the same thing that a plane would do, but much closer to the ground. It opens roads up faster. So let's say we get into there's a critical crash that happens down, wherever it happens, and instead of having what we now use is like ground equipment to reconstruct the scene, that could take 4 to 6, it just depends on how big the scene is, that cuts it down to like 2 hours or 1 hour, because the drone will go up there and just take all these pictures, and then it puts it into a computer system, and then we're able to like reconstruct the entire thing. They're, like I said, much cheaper than an aircraft, so our whole program is going to be like a sliver of price of getting fuel in a plane and getting a plane up into the sky. Officer and community safety, so like I said, instead of us having to like maybe go into a building, you can send a little drone into a building. Somebody flees into a building and we have to clear a building, it helps us get eyes on first as opposed to sending us in there or a dog in there and then potentially getting hurt or shot or whatnot. It also to go along with all that, prevents deadly contacts by providing situational awareness. So let's say we are searching a yard, we're able to have the drone up, see as we're searching a yard that the guy's like hiding in the corner. It just helps us navigate through this community better. So right now we're starting with 6 drones. In the future there might be more drones. For example, Russia, our neighboring agency, they have like dozens of drones. And they've started small like we did, and they got huge. There's drones these days, we don't have them, but my wish list is this, to be able to go and deliver like a safety package out into the gorge. If like somebody's stranded out there before we get to them, we're able to like bring a drone out there and drop. Well, Russia has one of those green drones, we don't have one of those drones yet, but that's my wish list for the future. So in the case that you do see drones out here, they might be Russian still, because we're not ready yet with that whole program, but you might see our deputies out there operating drones. Right now we have 4 members that are drone operators. They have to get a certification, they get a license, and everything's tracked and monitored, and law and all that stuff is all gonna be, there's regulations, just like you're to fly an airplane. A little bit less than that, but still you still have to get clearance and make sure that you're properly doing, and I don't know if any of you have flown drones. I've never flown a drone before, so I don't know exactly, but all these regulations are there that we have to follow. And so we have 4 so far, a sergeant and 3 deputies, a sergeant and 4 deputies. I would like to get a couple more. Right now we're again starting small, because I don't know how big we want to make this or how big it needs to be, but we want to get people from each of those teams I mentioned, the search and rescue, the vehicle crash team, patrol, everyone, a little bit of everyone, so that when we do deploying, they're readily available, that we don't have to call somebody in. So again, we're starting with a smaller group, but we intend to get a little bit bigger just to kind of spread a little bit of the workload. What else did I say about drones? They always worry, like, are you gonna use it to invade our privacy? We're gonna follow all the rules and laws that we already abide by with the airplane, same concept. We're not gonna go and sneak, it's not meant for that, it's meant for us to help the community be safe and keep the community safe. So, and yeah, I mean, the more we develop the program, there are probably more maybe questions that you might have, but for right now we're starting just very small, and hopefully we'll develop it to maybe make it like double the size, maybe 8 people involved. But trying to think, do any of you have questions about it?
I have a question.
Tyler?
Yeah, I have seen, I'm really excited about this. This is a great use of technology, and I think will only help make sure our deputies are safer. One thing I have noticed is that sometimes when police and the sheriff's department are called out, a nosy neighbor puts up a drone. Will there be ways for the team to kind of clear that airspace and make sure that if you guys need to deploy, you're there and have it, or any thoughts about how you guys handle that now?
The smaller the drone, and probably these ones that are like neighbors have a drone, are probably not gonna get as high as ours, and I'm sure that if we can get to see who's flying the drone, we can have a conversation with them and say, hey, we're navigating a crime scene right now, like, can you please fly at a different time? So we haven't encountered that yet, so I'm sure it'll come up. I'm sure there's gonna be people out that are gonna try to fly in our crime scene and whatnot, but for right now, I don't know how we'll, I'm sure it'll be something along the lines of us going to the person and seeing if we can find them. It's gonna be kind of hard because you can't really know where they're flying from, right? But if we can locate them, I'm sure they can have a conversation that goes along with like, hey, can you fly later, not now? Another cool thing about the drones that we asked for our drones is the capability of any deputy logging into a system and being able to, if you're associated with the call or this crime scene or whatnot, and or an admin person like one of us can log in from our phones and see how they're flying, which is kind of cool. So it doesn't have to be there, you can just look on your phone and see it. So, yeah, so I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll come with that conversation when the time comes. But
Can you, this is Sherry, can you take out a drone, so to speak, if there's a drone in an area that you don't want it to be?
like shoot it.
Well, or crash it out or something, I don't know.
I mean,
Bump it off.
we probably wouldn't want our expensive drones like making contact with them. I mean, that's gonna ruin our drone too. So I mean, besides us going and trying to find out who's flying that drone in person, it might be kind of hard to find good in the air. We probably could crash into it, but we don't want to.
I didn't know, maybe
Yeah.
you had something, you sling it
Yeah,
over it,
I
you know,
Not yet. We don't have anything like
a
that.
pea shooter. Okay,
I'm just curious how long it takes to get skilled in
So
flying.
they take I don't know if it's a 100-question test, but they have some of the people that I talked to that took the test, that it was the hardest test they'd ever taken. So I don't know how, it's an aviation test, so it's all to do with like flight, space, I'm not exactly sure, but it's a lot of verbiage and stuff you have to learn, so two of the people that I talked to said it was the hardest test they ever taken, so just to get the certification to be able to fly, and then you have to go through all this extensive training, which we're gonna hopefully team up with Gresham Police and have them help us train, because we don't know what we're doing, again, we're learning. So some of the guys, and there's one girl and the rest of them are guys, have flown drones like recreationally, but it's gonna be a skill that you have to like practice with.
Yeah.
I guess the way that they make them now is, it's almost hard to crash them, like you have to really try to crash, it's hard, they know they sense things, so they're hard to like actually crash into the ground, crash into something, but it does take some extensive training that we'll team up with Gresham and other local agencies to help us learn how to navigate things, so that's the good thing about starting that. We're one of the last agencies in the state that has a major, the size of our agency, that hasn't purchased drones yet, so kind of like behind the scenes, so we're gonna hopefully learn from everybody else that's already been flying them for years, so.
So that's where the training actually comes, is with
Yes.
other people, just with peers, there's no like drone school or whatever. I just wondered.
No, well, there is a drone school that Gresham puts together, kind of like a
Oh.
basic, let's see how to use a controller, let's see how to do, how to lock stuff in the computer. There is a basic drone school that they already attended, but there's like monthly training that goes along, like every single month we'll go and train and do stuff, and what I intend on doing is, when there's a call in Gresham, just like they've helped us over the last couple of years, is for us to go to their calls and learn. The only way we're gonna learn is if we actually go on, we don't have the same kind of caller as they do, so we'll learn more if we go to more calls, so that's another training aspect too, is going to a bunch of calls, so
Right, okay.
if they're available.
This is Mary. So are those tests done through like the FAA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they're FAA
Yeah.
certified?
Yes, they get a little
Test.
license, yep,
Okay,
they pay a fee and, yeah.
interesting.
Sherry.
okay, thanks. So what's the weight of the biggest drone that you're talking about?
Let me see. And if you like, I'm not gonna make their plan for them, but once we do get them, maybe they can come to each community meeting also, to all the cities, and show you guys what we're playing with, this is kind of cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool.
We don't have them yet, so, I don't know, wait, they have so like, for example, one of them, the DJI, the Trees 30T, which I don't know anything about that, it's just me reading the PowerPoint. It has a 30x zoom power, so it's can zoom in really close, high definition clear. It has a 25 to 30 minute flight time, so it can be up in the air, like they have batteries, and then you have to take them back down and put the new battery and put it back up. They can fly in the rain and cold. Their wind resistance is up to 22.4 miles per hour. So it doesn't have a weight. You can see the picture there, but I can't tell the weight.
I think my question is if one was to, fall out of the sky, crash in some
But it hurt
capacity.
somebody.
Yeah, what kind of
We're
damage?
definitely responsible for that, so, I don't know, I can get the answer to that, to see how heavy they are. There's someone knows that, I just don't have it in my PowerPoint as far as how heavy they are, but
Okay,
we're responsible, they're just like an aircraft, we're responsible for it, so we don't wanna do that, obviously.
okay.
But like I said, they have an capability, these newer, the ones we got as well, that they almost avoid objects on purpose, so if we want further information, I can look into it and see exactly how heavy they are and all that stuff, but what I've been told is that they're dumb-proof, so they won't crash, they're gonna do everything they can to not crash.
I think I've been over to Pendleton where they test a lot of
Okay.
different things, including the drones, and working with stuff. And, that was one of the things the guys talked about at that facility was a little bit with size, but also like how, drones clear air when there's planes coming by and stuff, and just knowing Troutdale Airport is right here, and it seems like and, Portland International, I'm like, where at? And is there ever a time when something could be too close? I mean, obviously, we had a plane crash in Fairview, and that was lower, and just kind of things
There's
like that.
regulations, so they can't go certain areas, they have to get clearances, so the drone sergeant is gonna keep track of all that. Whenever they deploy, they'll have to make sure that he's not going too close to whatever, even power lines or whatnot, so there's restrictions that they have.
Okay,
In the test that they take, they have to be licensed for it, so.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just gonna add to this, Mary, but I'm sure since they're doing the FAA certifications, those operators will have to know, aerospace just like pilots and be cleared and everything, so they're not, it's just like having another plane up, but the good thing is they're smaller.
Much smaller, yeah.
So it'll get less lethal if they crash.
This Sheridan, and what did you say, and what wind speed can they still
So
make?
this particular one I was talking about, is 22.4 miles per hour.
So
if you-
potentially today, they might not be able to
Yeah,
fly.
they're not gonna be able to fly in like extreme conditions when it's too windy, too rainy, too snowy, they're not gonna be able to, it's restricted, because they're just a machine up there.
Yeah.
They get hit by something, they're gonna, so there's restrictions, but in ideal conditions, they'll be up. So
Okay,
it's gonna be interesting in Troutdale because, the winds are really strong out here, so.
Yesterday.
But we have a lot of calls that happen in the gorge that we have to deploy them, so, or at least we're gonna try to deploy them, so.
okay.
Good, you guys? Well, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really exciting
Well,
to.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
If you have any questions, pass them on to Captain Evans, and I'll definitely answer them for you.
Great,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we are, Sheriff's Office it's interesting. We're a big agency in the metro area, and, we're looking at body cams, we're looking at drones, and a lot of it's been money. I can tell you, we had, Sheriff Reese had concerns about our drones being kind of the, invading people's privacy. He wasn't really into that. He was concerned about that. We use Gresham's drones a lot. The River Patrol, we used it a lot. We just had an incident in Fairview where, there was a man who was going through a mental health crisis that was walking down 205th and Wistful Vista with a gun. And there was two women walking, he pointed it at them, they were scared, they called the police. We've dealt with this guy a lot. And it's starting to become kind of a protocol for us, for our safety and everyone's safety, is we'll get on here and say, does Gresham have a drone operator? And they'll say yes, or they'll call them out for us. And they are quick, and they will get out there. And as what we would do in that kind of a call is, we're trying to locate where he is. And what the last information was, he went back towards his home. So normally what all the deputies would do is we would go and stage in an area kind of close but away. We get a plan. Okay, here's our plan. Here's what we're going to do to approach to be safe, to make everyone safe. Because the last thing we want to do is go in and then surprise them and then we have a shootout. It's all bad. So those days are long gone. We don't want to do that. Well, now we can go, hey, can we get a drone up? And in that scenario, we did. So the drone operator went up, got the drone up, looked through the whole area, decided he's in the house. He went back inside. Everything looks good. And we disengaged because it's not worth us, and he's gonna. So we determined that the neighborhood's safe. There's no one in danger in the house. We're disengaging and we're just gonna call it a day. We took their statements and we wrote our report up and sent it to the district attorney's office, and actually I just read it, they issued a warrant out for him now. So now we have a warrant, so now we're gonna do detectives and we're gonna get the right time to arrest him when it's safe, so. But the drones are constantly search and rescue, we have so many search and rescues going on. And when the lieutenant, when she was saying how a drone can't literally go and drop goods, like Amazon, and They literally could go drop, yeah, because there's those areas, sometimes we'll stay all night in the gorge, knowing where they are, but it's not safe to get to the victim. We'll have deputies stay all night there with the fire guys and wait till the morning till we can get down and be safe. Well, now, if we have a drone, we can go in there, give them what they need, and kind of communicate with them. So it's long overdue. I'm excited we're gonna get that done. Like I said, there's so many things that we gotta get up to date with. The body cams, we've gotta get going on those. The sheriff is on board with that. It's just money. It's money of keeping all those.
This is Sherry. Let me tell you that the very first thing I wrote down was invasion of privacy. Because I do believe there's plenty of people that will feel a drone up. And what's it doing? On the 4th of July, I could tell it was a war zone in my neighborhood. And I live up by the high school, and even in the field, they were shooting it off, big ones. And as I went out my back door and came down the side. And so, there's bushes and stuff. I just get out and I can see some people down the way that have been blowing off some fairly large things that notice me. And it's instantly like sort of a dispersing sort of. And I watch for a bit, and it's like I figure it is what it is. I mean, I can't do anything about it anyway. And now I see some other way. I go walking back, and the next thing I'm like, what is that noise? And there is a drone above me. And it's moving around. It's like, and I feel like, I wonder if that drone was up, they're monitoring, kind of who's moving about, and is anyone coming in the neighborhood? Are the police showing up? And so, yeah, and so I kind of like, ew, that's kind of creepy, having something right above my head. So, yeah.
Well, we definitely wouldn't do that because actually we won't even respond to fireworks, so let alone we never deploy a drone. Because I've heard, and I say that as a joke, but.
No, I knew it wasn't you guys, though. I figured it was somebody in the neighborhood covering their own.
Yeah, the drones are, it would be used, search and rescue, like the lieutenant said, the vehicular crime team, when they have to remap the whole, that would definitely be used to save a whole bunch of time. Crash Morty does. And officer safety stuff, where you can say, hey, get a drone in there, see where this guy is, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do.
Citizen safety.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
All those things are good.
we've had an experience, it's been years ago, but in our backyard, there was somebody who was running loose and wanted, and the guys were everywhere.
Yep.
And, I was like, oh my gosh, get in, and I was, because I could hear the fence rattle, chain link, and I'm thinking, yeah. Anyway, so I knew, and I was like, I would
Yeah,
love
it's kinda like
to
a-
have had you guys to have the drone,
Yeah, it's
so
kinda
that
like having a
for
canine.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so that was good. That was, I think she explained it good. It's still kind of in the works, but, exciting stuff. I have not read off these stats for years, and I looked at these before the meeting. I don't know how Captain Asbo did it for you. I don't know how detailed you want to get into this. I can tell you, I've already met with Ray Young several times this week. He's already made it very clear to me, and it was like deja vu. He wants more tickets. He wants more traffic stops in the city of Troutdale. He doesn't understand why we do traffic stops and just get warnings. He wants citations. He wants municipal court utilized. He does not like that we have Stark Street Bridge closed and now Plum River Highway is a freeway. We're doing a walk through 1,000 acres tomorrow with state lands. Now, as we know, 1,000 acres is not in Troutdale, but it does bleed into Troutdale. That is going to be a huge undertaking. That is federal, state land. That's going to be very interesting. So tomorrow we're doing that.
may I ask, is that like a sweep if you find
Right now,
antlers, or?
we actually have a county commissioner to be with us. I believe someone from state lands will be there as well. And Ray, and they just wanna see what it looks like. And we're not gonna go too deep in there because frankly, it's not safe right now. They've bunkered down, they've been in power for years to stay there, and now it's a mess. So there's so many different, you got so many different agencies involved that have different philosophies and rules and such, so that's gonna be a good undertaking, but I kinda am telling you this because Ray and I, and of course, the budget talk that's coming up. So I have my opinions of that, and I think I have some good ideas for the city. I'm kind of in an awkward position because I work for the sheriff's office, but I worked for the city of Troutdale. And I was here in 2014 when we did the merge with the county. And I remember specifically county, city, councilors and commissioners. I remember the reasoning of doing the merge. And I think we can do a pretty good angle at this. But anyway, so I got a lot of stuff cooking already with the city manager. I'll get back to my point. I don't know how specific you want to get into these stats. I looked at it to see if there was any glaring changes from the month prior.
That's what Captain asked me to do.
We did 29 more traffic stops, which, that's pretty awesome in the city for last month. But I don't know if you guys have had time to look through these stats. They basically, numbers wise, we kind of stayed the same as the previous 30 days. I don't see any I didn't highlight any major calls or big jumps in frequency of calls in a specific area. So I guess my question is, would you like me to read off each one, or do you just want to look at this and have questions on what you see?
I think we want to do questions. I mean, he always highlighted what he saw was anything glaring. We kind of went a little bit through stuff, but I think we don't need to do that. I think if anybody has any, have you guys had a chance to look at it? Robbie, have you had a chance to look at it? Do you guys have any questions?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Did we get emailed it beforehand?
Yes, it got emailed, I think this morning at 8:10, I think is when I saw that it,
I'll just
so.
have to look for that. Thank you.
This is Sherry. So I reviewed the first part up to call logs earlier today, but there's something when I just flipped through call logs, and this has nothing to do with, except my own curiosity, something that's called civil standby. What does that mean?
So a civil standby, most likely what that was is, could be, someone got a restraining order on their significant other, and they want 20 minutes to get all their stuff out of the house because they've been held in a restraining order.
Okay,
So the deputy will go there and stand by and make sure everything stays civil while he or she gets all their stuff and leaves the house.
okay,
That's usually a civil standby, or it could be where they're doing a child exchange for the weekend. The child was with dad, but she doesn't feel comfortable without a deputy there. Something to where we're there to make sure everything's peaceful.
okay. And then the other thing that I looked just when I flipped through the call log, and again, this might not be the case, but I feel like I saw a lot with disturbance and a lot with suicide attempt or threat. And I don't know if it was more than normal, but I just feel like, oh, it just seems like that was popping out to me a bunch, so. But nothing in particular, so.
We did have more suicide attempts, threats this month than we usually do. It's kind of
Okay.
8 versus, I mean, BOAX thing, I guess. I don't know what the log is, the actual things that happened. I think this top report is those that get called in, so I think those don't always tie out to, but you saw it when you looked at the log, so.
Yeah, it looks like 3 last month and we had 8, or 3 the prior month and 8 in September, suicide attempts or threats.
Yeah, so.
But I didn't see anything that, and I just, my first week here,
Right.
so I can tell you everything that's been going on the waterways and but I don't know of any major calls in Troutdale from last month.
I'll give you this as a disclaimer about me. Most of what I ask is just curiosity, so personal interest. Because in the time of being on this, I haven't yet been quite sure what I'm supposed to do with the information provided. Look at it, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to have like a reaction that's helpful to the council.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I don't know where we are as a group, because I remember I did this 2 years ago. And actually, I think I was here when we started this group.
Yes.
We were like literally just started. And we didn't know the goal, what are we doing, or are we, like the budget coming up, are we involved in that at all? Are we supposed to give ideas to council or, recommendations? Are we supposed to do community involvement to see what the community, what do our residents here in Troutdale want? That at least years ago was stuff that we were brainstorming and asking Ray, what do you want from us? So I don't know where we've gone with that in a few years, but,
Well, I think that I've only been on it just a couple years. This is my second year. And I did a little bit, try to research, in us talking about goals later. And one of the things we were supposed, looks like years ago, we were supposed to in 2021 to 2022, give some guidance to the council on public safety issues. So I think we've been probably wrestling with this, trying to figure this out, and that's what we're still trying to totally do, except for the fact that I'm getting us off tangent a little bit. We do have a survey, we're gonna talk about that tonight, we've started it. We're trying to get feedback from the community on what they think, because I think this is great if we can see patterns or see, something we need to try to address with the sheriff's office, or if we knew about fire stuff, we could address that. We do know there's a problem with the ambulance stuff, but they did get that pilot thing going, so I guess we think we're hoping that that's gonna solve and get better. But anyhow, I think that's what we're tasked with probably doing, is trying to get some information, but I think we're trying to do that now. I feel like we're maybe making a little traction, I don't know, but anyhow. Does anyone else have questions on the stuff here? Do we need to go over anything more? I think it's all okay. Well, I am going to, go ahead, Victoria.
Are we moving on to the next one?
No, I'm going
I
to,
had a question about something else.
okay, I was just gonna say, I am following up with Paul's question last month. And so Paul's on, you could actually ask it, but I had asked Captain Asbo, how many citations were issued for illegal fireworks in Troutdale? And what triggered Paul to state this was that we had posted on our Facebook page, Troutdale's Facebook page, that deputies would be out enforcing the law and citing individuals that are in possession of illegal fireworks. So the city had said that, and so then Paul was asking last month how many citations were actually issued, and Captain Asbo, we didn't give him a heads up, so he said he would try to pass it on to you, but I don't know that happened in a couple days, so just, yeah.
I don't know, and it's too bad, because if I was asked that question this morning, I could have an answer for you, because we have analysts with the county that can just check. This is what you did on 4th of July.
Okay, so Paul, shall we pursue that for next month, or are we just gonna wait for next year? I just wanna know this was your question we were bringing forward since in your absence.
Yeah, I can wait another month, thanks.
Okay, so perhaps you can answer that question for,
I would guess very low,
yeah, that's
very low.
That's
is my
what I
guess.
think Captain Asbo seemed to think, but he didn't know. So perhaps that's where there's disjoint between what we state on our website and what actually is happening. So,
It's funny you say that, because I remember when we did this years ago, somebody from this group wanted to put out that it was something to the effect of, we will arrest, and we kind of chuckled because we won't, or,
Right.
not going to, and
This Sherry, I feel like there was a little bit before, maybe Captain Asbo indicated that it's more something fire has to deal with. Like it was a handoff to things that are illegal fireworks and the fire marshal or something shows up to have to do something.
I think what he might have been saying is when we dispose of, what we get with the fire department to dispose of the fireworks, or when we, most likely if deputies did go to illegal fireworks, they would most likely take the fireworks, give them a property receipt for it, saying we're gonna destroy these fireworks. And that's where we get wood Gresham Fire, and they destroy it for us. They actually would have barrels of water and stuff, and that's how we, because we don't wanna put them in the evidence room or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's, it's been a while for me, but that's how we would dispose of fireworks, prior, but I don't know what we did last year or this year.
Okay.
Okay, then the other thing was that Carol had sent, or called me and said that she had noticed on Facebook and Nextdoor a number of posts about police officers in cars not doing anything when there is speeding on 257th and also on Troutdale Road. One person said they talked with an officer who did nothing. So they're very frustrated citizens, so she wanted that to be, I guess, relayed. I don't know if there's some threshold before anything happens on traffic-related stuff. I don't know, but go ahead, I mean.
I was just wondering, when we put out the wonderful little sign that tells you how fast you're going, does that keep data on how many people that are actually speeding through that area? Or does it just like flash it up and it disappears?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I bought Troutdale's, I don't know if we still use that original one or not, we might have upgraded it, but I bought that, and one of the things that Chief Anderson wanted back in the day was that it did record the times, the dates, the speeds, so if we're still using that radar trailer, yes, it would record all that.
Interesting.
I know for a fact they may not have the trailer one, but I do know they have a box because I've gotten some information about areas. Ray shared some information about where they've had a camera up and it's tracked the number of speeders, the hours, the time, whatever. But it doesn't actually have a sign that shows you what you're doing. It's just tracking all of that.
I think that is a city's property.
That's the city's property,
And
yes.
Public Works or Joe Storgy, the code enforcement officer, I think they deploy that out at the sheriff's office.
Yep. So it's a very useful tool to know if we really have a problem in an area, so.
This is Sherry. If the city used that and determined that, let's say at 9 o'clock, Troutdale Road by, I don't know, Stark, I don't know, I'm just guessing at something, was having a lot of speeders or something, would the city be able to say, we want you to put a deputy there to do traffic for an hour?
100%, that's exactly what happens.
Okay.
We do have our deputy, that is Nick Board, who actually should have been, is Nick on this call tonight? Nick Board?
He's not, but he's one of the people that can potentially be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our Troutdale resource.
Yeah, I'm on here.
Okay, so
Oh, he is, where?
Nick he's the deputy that is assigned for the city of Troutdale. So that would specifically be where we would say, Deputy Board, we got at 9 o'clock in the morning, Troutdale Road by, 13th is heavy speeding, and he would work that zone over. This happens all the time. This happened today where Ray Young called me and said, Plum River Highway is a freeway because the Structure Bridge is closed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching cars out my window right now going, on speed. I got a hold of the deputies that are working in the Troutdale districts. They went down, showed presence, did traffic stops. So yes, that's exactly how it works.
Okay.
That's all good.
Hey Nick, are we still using the radar trailer?
The city has one that they keep at Public Works, which is owned by the city. The one that we utilized before, I believe, is up in Corbett at that storage area at District 5. I could be wrong, but I think that's where it's at, and that one was not working as well, and that's why the city bought the new one. But as far as the other radar system they're talking about, the little box thing, that's the can't remember the name of it, but it's basically a ghost system to where people don't know that it's there, and it records dates, times, and speeds and how many vehicles go through the area, and it'll tell you the exact speed of every vehicle that goes through that area over a period of time, and then it will average it out and tell you what the average speed is based off of every vehicle that goes through that area. And then it will tell you the highest speed, the lowest speed, and everything in between.
So yeah, so that information, most likely Public Works, if Travis would get it, or one of us.
Travis is the one who has that.
Okay.
So, Ms. Sherry, we as a committee could make a recommendation to council to have Public Works or whoever get that thing set up somewhere if we're getting feedback from people saying, hey, this area seems like a hotbed or something, and then we could make that recommendation.
It would actually probably be faster if you guys recommended it, because when we try to do it, sometimes there's time delays based off of various variables that are going on. But if you guys recommended it, it would probably get done faster.
Yeah, that's what I kind of meant, is that's something we can do as a committee.
I think that's something that, like what Carol's providing some information, maybe we just need to be more paying attention to what we're hearing from the community or what we're noticing, and then we could deploy and see, if we have a problem in an area, but we need to get police on it to monitor.
And the other thing that's really good about that system is we've used it multiple times where we have had numerous complaints saying that speed's out of control in certain areas, and then we'll put it out there for like a week or two, and then we'll collect the data on it, and come to find out the speed's not a problem whatsoever. People are just, their perception of it seems to be faster than what it should be, and at the end of the day, there's not a speed problem in that area.
Nick, is that on the one that's like hidden that people don't know, or the one that actually?
It's the hidden one.
Okay.
The one that shows you your speed, I believe that one records the speeds as well, but the hidden one seems to be a lot better for data collection.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
This goes along with Carol's. I don't know, you probably want to monitor the Facebook of City of Troutdale. There was a big post yesterday too about Sunrise Park. Did you guys see that one?
I didn't see it.
And they're removing the porta potty because it's vandalized so much. But the thing you'd be interested in, lots of comments, and quite a few about the police and them not doing anything. So I just thought maybe you'd want to monitor that. I don't have next door, so I don't know if it's on next door. But yeah, Carol saw different ones than I did. I saw this one. So.
Yep.
But actually, that's good information for us to know too.
Yes, it is. I guess that's very true. Okay, any more questions related to the law enforcement reports or law enforcement? Robbie, you have any questions? Nope, you're good. Okay. Well, then let's move on. On to agenda item number 6, follow up on the safety survey at First Friday and the next steps. Okay, so Twyla can tell us
Yeah.
how it went, right?
Yeah, it went really well. It was super hot. It was just me and Carol the whole evening. And Woodrow showed up when we were breaking things down and helped put them away. So there was, you have the ones, there was quite a few people who took the online survey. These are the people who took it in person. Feedback for our next time we do it, it would be really great to have like just a little quarter sheet with the QR, because people wanted to walk away and go sit down somewhere and do it more comfortably. So then they could just have a takeaway to go do it later. A lot of people asking if we had that. Good feedback, great participation, they love the pins. The other thing that came up during this is there were quite a few other surveys going on, and people are very confused on the difference of the ones that are out there that were happening. There was, I believe, I can't remember who, Parks or Metro was a couple tables down, they had one, there was another one. And so it was just people weren't sure what they were giving feedback on, and they were kind of like, oh, I already gave my feedback, I don't really want to do it again. So that might be something that we if we're doing another public event, do some more research on. Overall, it was great to get out and talk to the community and hear. I didn't have anybody that had any complaints or feedback about safety. In fact, most people were very positive about the state of Troutdale and how things are going. So, but it was also a party atmosphere, and people are walking around with drinks on First Friday, so it's hard to have a bad attitude. And there was a dunk tank, so yeah.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see the data that we got from the online surveys and see if there's any trends, see if anybody put comments in, that sort of thing.
Do we know how many?
I was just gonna say,
I think Robbie's pulling up that.
and let me ask you, Robbie, did you ever input any of these manual surveys?
I think.
No, yeah, so actually the plan was that Carol was gonna bring them to this meeting and then we were gonna fill them out. So unfortunately, those paper surveys are not in there, but if you have them on hand and you have a few seconds, all I was gonna do is just put them in myself. So I think Carol said that there was like 6 or 7 pieces of paper there. Do you have them on hand?
2, 3.
We have something,
4,
yes.
5. We have some stack of them. It looks, they're all
Yeah.
paper. I don't know if it's.
Each one is there were quite a few pages when they tried to print them off for us.
Oh,
Each one of those is.
Yeah, there's 21 total responses here online. And yeah, there actually are some noticeable trends just within those responses. The first one is that 45% of the people were within region D. Just as a reminder, this is the map that we were operating off of. So D is kind of the right side of, or the east side of Troutdale. Coming back to the responses. First of all, did you know there's a committee on public safety? 57% of people said yes. 65% of people would attend a public safety meeting. Most of the responses, if not all of them, were at least somewhat satisfied with the police services in Troutdale. And here, I can actually blow this up too. So good amount of people, 42%, 9 out of the 21 said they're very satisfied with the police services. Additionally, majority of people, 55%, said that they're satisfied with the fire department services. And similar results, most of the people were, they didn't have a strong opinion, which is what 3 kind of represented there for emergency medical services. Level of communication between the police department and the community was relatively good. We had scattered, some didn't have strong opinions, other ones rated at a 4 or 5. How safe do you feel walking alone? This is really good to see. 60% of people feel safe walking alone in their neighborhood. Considering that, that is 12 responses out of 21, and knowing that the majority of those were in the D neighborhood, maybe it can be said that people feel really safe in that part of town. Moving on, people do relatively feel safe in public places such as parks or shopping areas. Again, those, we could probably consider that these 12 people were similar here. So all around feeling safe. Not many people are too concerned about violent crime. 7 people said that they were not concerned at all, but 4% of people said that they are really concerned about violent crime. So that was kind of all across the board there with the results. Additionally, with property crime, we see something similar. So really all across the board here, 5 1 responses, 5 4, 4 5. So take of that what you will. Not a lot of people concerned about gang activity. 6 and 8, 14 out of 21 people saying they're not too concerned. Only 3 people saying that they were concerned about gang activity. So I'm curious to know where those people live. Similarly, drug-related crime, I will give a little spoiler alert when it comes to the additional comments that we're going to see at the bottom of it. A lot of those additional comments were concerning drug use and drug-related crimes. So people were feeling motivated to put those in the special comments, which we'll see in just a second, but we can see that reflected here in the data too. People view police interactions within diverse communities pretty positively. The 9 out of 21% of people did, and then a follow-up of 5 and 4. So nobody said that they really negatively view those police interactions, which is something good to see. Additionally, people do believe that the police are visible and accessible within the community, so similar results there. And then this is what I was talking about with regards to drugs. We have drug comments up there, but then moving down, poverty, lack of living wages, mental health, houselessness, drug use again, drugs again, not enough enforcement, lack of police were a couple of comments there as well. And then this one was pretty specific, the Troutdale truck stop. When it comes to traffic-related concerns, lots of talk about red lights. So we were expecting that, speeding, red lights being ran, lots of accidents and near misses. This was actually interesting, something that I personally noticed a lot, the amount of U-turns at the 257th Columbia Highway intersection trying to get back to the food carts. So definitely see that a ton. And then moving down, would you be interested in emergency and disaster preparedness? 63% of people said yes. And then in terms of additional comments, nothing like specific to note. This person down here, I'm having trouble kind of scrolling here. This comment down here, I'm not quite sure where this came from, but this was a pretty in-depth one that even included a YouTube video. So I'm not sure what this actually pulls up. We can see. Hopefully it's nothing bad.
Firefighters.
Okay.
Everybody.
Something about firefighters, so I will not let that continue to play, but there was a video link included in there. And overall, that's the survey. So any questions I can scroll to or go back up to?
Would you just go back to the map?
Yeah.
Okay, and then back to the breakdown of, from what neighborhoods?
Nobody from A, we would expect nobody. Okay.
And then what's E again? Can you go back to the map? Sorry.
E was that little neighborhood down there.
Yeah.
That's still enough. I mean, that's just.
People were really confused about this. We had to walk them through it.
Okay.
When they had their phones and everything. So this might be something that we could optimize again.
Okay.
Okay, I just want this data to be of use, so I think we need to get this out, and I would think soon, but when does you guys are on the working group for the contract, when do you think, I mean, any of this data that would be helpful, when do you think we would have to have it to you guys by? I mean, when do you guys make decisions? When?
Go ahead.
We don't make the decision, we make suggestions. And they've already created a committee. I think your husband on it.
Yes.
Okay.
To do the actual negotiations. So right now we're I'd say we're pretty much in the end stages of making the suggestions for them to take to the negotiations.
So in other words, this won't be helpful to you?
I mean, I think it's good information to share. I think at our next meeting, it'd be good for us to bring this forward. I think they are still working on getting, like she said, getting that negotiation piece and then still gathering more information in particular to the contracts and details and things like that they've requested from different bodies.
Just Sherry, I just want to say one thing is, once again, I think Robbie said 20 or 21. I mean, if we go down to a percentage of 20 or 21 people so far, realize there's some not inputted, and we do that in a comparison to the percentage of how that, I mean, that's not even a part of a percent for the, the population in Troutdale. And so it's as nice as it is that part of it, I would say people would feel safer, those that could come down and take a survey like that. Ones that might not feel safe, and again, and not in reflection of the police department per se, but just there might be additional informations that would come. if we actually got it like on the water bill, and they could, get on there and they could, and I'm not saying everybody will fill it out, but there might be some people, and then we just get some additional data that would be a little bit more well-rounded and not just, missing out on parts of the community.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I have to tell you, I'll just tell you what I'm thinking, you guys. Woo, I've got some big ambitious goals, but I feel like we need to get this on the water bill as soon as possible. I don't know, but the next water bill that goes out, don't know if that's next week, next month, but whatever we need to do, we need to get that information to the city so they can put that QR code, they can put that URL link, they can send it out electronically or on the paper bills, whatever is going those, as well as our other outreach avenues, going to the committees and trying to promote it, getting paper copies and taking them to, I don't know, Troutdale Terrace. Now we don't have Cherry Park Plaza anymore, but I mean, wherever we could think of right now, let's figure out the list of what we need to do so we can get this before, basically by the time we have our next meeting, I hope we've got it going out or in the plans to go out everywhere.
Okay.
This is Mary, I was just gonna say, we started this one,
Yeah.
and February, I just think that this needs to either be pushed off or put back on the burner but I don't. It's like, we put a lot of work into this and so far, and I think, I just think it would be, really good information to have, but we need to put it out to a way broader base.
Yep.
This is Sherry. There's so many different avenues that would be almost nothing. There's probably, if it's not already on the front page of the Troutdale, when you click in on City of Troutdale, something should come up in a little banner saying, take the time to fill out the survey, and
Right.
not everybody's gonna do it, but, hey, maybe they will. And maybe we get, the QR code, put on a little bit larger sheets of paper, maybe that are laminated, and maybe they let us hang it at the food cart, or they let us hang it, maybe some restaurants or something like Burrito Shop or Di Pompeo, or, I don't know, just like some stuff, maybe there's some options like that too. But I will say that definitely I feel like not everybody goes out to a bunch of places. And there could be people that we could reach with the water bill, and maybe there's some other things too, so.
Go ahead, Victoria.
I do believe the water bill's probably out this month, but you should get on next month if you let them know right away.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So if the committee's in favor of that, that's what I'm gonna, try to send them the stuff so they can talk to them, figure out when it, I'll send it tonight practically if I can.
The only thought is if there's one way to make that map clearer, because,
Yeah, okay.
just because it'll be even more confusing if they can't, and they're sitting without help.
If there's any way, I don't know, Robbie, you seem really, you're really good with it. I really appreciate what you have done so far, but I don't know if you can put the names of the streets on that map somehow.
The
I think would
main
be
divider lines.
The main divider
streets.
lines, exactly. I don't know.
I noticed that too, the area D, if I looked at it correctly, it's Troutdale Road, east of Troutdale Road, Sandy Palisades areas, and that's a lot of homes east of Troutdale Road. Beaver Creek, because it looks like it went all the way down past.
Yeah. I just think if we had the names on those dividing lines, street names would be helpful to people when they look at that map.
Yeah.
And have it, readable,
Do you want to take that on, Robbie?
or I don't know if there's somebody else.
Yeah, it would be a little bit difficult to get the street names to display legibly on an image of that size, so we can try. I can try and send a mock-up.
Robbie, is there any way you can lay in a text box over the top of just the road names that are just the dividers to give an indication?
Yeah, if you want, I don't know like exactly what road lines you're thinking.
Well, like, okay, we obviously divide it Troutdale Road, Buxton, whatever we're calling it, that label, so if that label sits along there, and then Stark, I think, is a division point, and I think maybe Columbia River Highway is a division point.
Yeah, I could try. I could definitely throw something together and send it your way, and we could review and workshop it. But yeah.
Okay.
The critical thing is the turnaround time is
Yeah.
very quick. Like, I mean, I think that I just don't know when I guess I need to find out when the water bills go out
It's
because
gone out, they would have sent it out already, because I should be
Okay.
getting mine any
day. So
Yeah.
maybe we have a
Maybe
little,
today,
but I don't
maybe
want to wait till the last minute. And so I definitely want to turn this around and be able to give this to them, you know, in like less than, well, I have some personal stuff coming up, so I need to do this within less than a week.
Yeah,
And otherwise I have to task somebody else with doing it. So at any rate, okay, well, if we can figure out the map thing,
I've got the names right here, the street names, but.
okay. If we can possibly, I don't know, I mean, like I said, Robbie, can you turn that around fast? Can you do it? Are you just pressed for time here, can you do this really soon, or?
Yeah, no, I can throw it together tomorrow. No worries.
Okay, so, all right, Robbie's gonna work on the map, see if we can make that look better, more legible. Let me back up for a second, is there anything else we need to change on the survey? I'm asking if there's any other questions that, I know we've got responses from some that these people wouldn't have got to answer these other, but is there anything else? I bring that up because we're changing the map, so we're changing one thing about, but we're not really, it's just making it more legible, but is there anything else you guys feel like that we're missing?
this is Sherry, I'm gonna offer up one thing and you can just say, nope, doesn't matter. Is there anything that we would wanna distinguish between, age?
No.
Okay,
I mean, I don't, but.
it's a weird question anyway. I just wondered if there's a perception of, you know, like, from a, you know, an older perspective or like a Gen Z or, you know what I mean?
This is Mary. I think that, I don't think we need that.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't hurt my feelings
And I
at
think
all.
some people might be offended. I don't know.
What are you guys?
I think less questions, the better,
Yeah.
Okay,
because then people will finish it.
okay.
On that, can I add something?
Sure.
Because on that survey, there was a question about gangs.
Yeah.
I would bet that the majority of the concerns about gangs is coming from Reynolds High School and its parents getting information from their kids or from the school about the gang activity. I don't know if you could make that question different in regards to, are you concerned about gangs or gang activity in Troutdale? I would bet the majority is because of their concern because their kids go to high school. Because there is gang activity in Reynolds High School.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I'd have to see the question again to see if there's if so, where, or something like that, and that could be if they do have, that's where they put their add-on on, like, locations where.
At the high school, you know, we have a lot of students that are coming in from Portland, from the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And they are documented gang members.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I would bet the majority of the people that are concerned about gang activity are concerned about their kids that are going to Reynolds High School.
Yeah.
The question, how concerned are you about gang activity in your community? Obviously.
So, giving the disclaimer too, when we first set up the survey, we were in a small group and we were really working, like, trying to get not just 1 through 4, because, I mean, we were using just like a 1 through 4, not 1 through 5, but we wanted also comments, because we feel like sometimes a number is, you poke it, but there's meaning behind the number and we want to know why. Your feelings about a 3 might be one thing, my feelings about a 3 might be different, so kind of like we wanted to get a little bit more meat with it. And some people don't want to make all those comments or something like that too, so, I mean, I think he brings up a valid point. If there's a way that we could add a little something that gives a little bit more specifics, it could be helpful. I know that one of the reasons I wanted to be on a committee, wanted to be on something in Troutdale, I want more people to be involved in what's going on in Troutdale and saying what's going on, not just a few people making decisions and then, you know, people being kind of unhappy or whatever. It's like, let's hear your voices. And so what's a way that we can gather? And so that's why we were just like, oh, let's get a survey out. How can we do it? Let's just get one out. So anyway, so I do. I mean, I think Catherine brings up a valid point.
The only thing is, what will we actually do about? I mean, I know some of ours are getting, it is feelings, people's sense of feelings. So obviously, if they have a sense of feeling that there's a lot of gang stuff.
But they can write a comment, right?
Yeah, they can.
Each one of those questions has the ability to provide more information.
For me,
Yeah.
there's a big difference of, if I'm concerned about gang activity, is that because I'm concerned that I can't go down to an auto park with my family?
Or if it's in the school.
Yes, to me, that's a big difference, because if I'm gonna tell the city, I'm very concerned about gang activity in the city.
Is there any way we could add?
Sure, we could
Just say, keep that question and then example, just put EX or something, I don't know, in schools or I don't know.
Or if so,
Just-
where?
Yeah, what about, is that something we could add, Robbie, to change that question so they could specify, like, maybe we even had a couple options, or they could just specify? I don't know.
Think about if you give them, if you say Reynolds,
Then
that might be their like, well, yeah, of course, that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm-
But if you say school, maybe, I don't know, I mean, well, I guess we don't have a,
Maybe even
Middle
something
school,
like you said,
middle
somebody
school.
says vague as, you know, an example. I mean, did they see a drive-by shooting off Frontage Road? Did they have an incident at or City Parks? I mean, maybe if we just say something as simple as, please give a quick example.
What do you think, Robbie? Is that something are you guys in favor of adding so we
jog
could
there,
do something to get a little bit more specific on the gang one?
Is, by us collecting that, is that helpful to you, the
Yes.
police department?
Yes, it would be a big, if we got a survey back with residents of Troutdale saying, we are very concerned about gang activity at Glen Park. That is something we need to know about. We know we have gang activity at Reynolds High School. We know it. We have 2 SROs that they're very well aware of it.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean, I still lean toward the if so, list where. I mean, somebody could list more than one place. If there's some,
schools, parks, we could just put, for example, schools, parks. What else?
So we can do a free response field. What we don't want to do is create like a leading question, like what you were saying, to like instill that idea in their head. So what I can do is I can just put a little free response below. If they want to input, they can. If they don't, they don't. But like you said, we don't want to like pose all these options for them to find gang activity in their community. So yeah, we can do free response, and that's not a problem at all.
Can you put a prompt on it so that they
if so, where? Or list, is that what you
are
mean?
aware?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, just where, just a where.
Just because we want to encourage them to answer a little bit more. And if they just see it's a blank line, they just could skip over it and not answer it. You know what I mean? We want to
Yeah.
encourage, they could still
If
skip
so,
over
where,
it.
that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so going back, okay, so any other things that we think we need to add or change? My thought originally was, do we think we need to ask further about, let's see, what was it?
Not red light cameras.
Not red light cameras, no, because we tabled that for right now, okay? Yeah, it seems like there's something else I was gonna ask, can't think of it, all right, never mind, I can't remember what it was. But I have written down that we want to get the survey on the water bills, both electronic, and we want to get it on Troutdale's homepage, their Facebook page. So
Do
where,
they have an Instagram page? Does
they
anyone
don't,
know?
do they have Instagram or do they have Nextdoor? I don't know, does that, we think they have Nextdoor.
We have a
I don't-
great Instagram page.
What was that, Robbie?
The city of Troutdale has a fantastic social media team and Instagram page.
Okay.
They do.
Okay, so we're just doing all those. Okay, now what about paper copies and like where would we, or maybe the QR code, like you guys suggested, on a little piece of paper, or you are going to like some apartment buildings that don't get water bills, those places, I think we think apartments don't get water bills. So,
Is there a way that the city could tell us some of those locations that maybe would be limited?
We could always put some in City Hall by the front desk.
I think, well, I'm just, the one I'm thinking is that I'll
Deliver
talk to
them
the
to
manager
the-
at Troutdale Terrace and see if there's a way, what they think is the best way to possibly reach their residents there. I mean, we can't put it in mailboxes, so I mean, is there some way they communicate with the people? I don't know. So I will go there and see what I can find out about how we can do it there. I don't know where else. And I'll ask, I guess I can ask the city also, any places that, residences that don't get water bills. And what we can try to identify those. Okay, then I also think we should, as a committee, try to go to, some of the other committee meetings and during non-agenda items, whatever, talk about and say, I just want to encourage you guys to help us out. We've got this survey. We really want to get a lot of information and try really hard to get big participation. And then us all talk to our neighbors and try
Okay,
to
well,
really.
This is Sherry. Victoria and Robbie and myself and Carol all go to parks.
Okay, so you guys got parks covered for us.
And Victoria and Twyla and you guys go to other ones.
Yeah.
I'm on six.
I just feel like, do you guys feel
She's got
that?
them all.
I don't have historic and.
Carol Ann's on, is Carol?
I don't have planning or historic, I have the rest.
So I think we just need to go to planning.
Okay,
Robbie, are you in planning?
I'm the alternate for planning, yes.
okay, so you can promote it there, right?
Yes, I can.
So we
And
got
then
them
we
all.
just need historic landmarks then, huh? Is that what you said? Nobody else is on historic landmarks? Is Carol on historic landmarks?
Caroline, what?
Historic landmarks? Okay, so we might have them covered, with us, just on our immediate committees. Okay, well, I think that could really help, and you promote it with your neighbors, so.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any other ideas on getting it out? I just think we need to do it ASAP. And then this is what I'm thinking as far as a timeline. And you guys can weigh in. This is me just brainstorming here, thinking, okay, if we get it out in November, we have it opened and we collect responses until basically our January meeting. So December 31st, early part of January, whatever, we have the cutoff. And then at our January meeting, we look at and analyze the results, what we're seeing, and start formulating, what we're seeing, patterns, anything that we can bring to work safety or the the working group that you guys are. You guys will gather and take that information to that working group. I mean, unless you guys aren't meeting anymore, you think that you're at the end, but if you guys are still meeting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know when we're gonna end, but I
Right.
know the negotiating team's, doing a lot, yeah.
right, but, yeah, I just feel like we should bring that information to the
No,
work
I
group
think
as
Yeah.
soon as we can finalize. I mean, like, we'll get the data, we gotta turn it around fast, so I think in our meeting, that's what we'll be doing, a lot of that meeting, will be just to analyze and us figure out what we're kind of formulating, what we're seeing. Obviously, if we can all look at it ahead of time, great, but what decisions we can see, patterns, whatever we're saying, we're gonna report, don't you
Well, I feel
think?
like too that we needed to bring it back to council so they can, since we presented it and got the okay, then.
Well, we
it'd
can
be good
still
to
present
also
it to
do
them,
that.
but I feel
Yeah.
like the working group has such quick turnaround. They need the information as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
and I think also they were gonna do, if you guys remember, another survey, they had talked about having one, Ray,
Yeah.
that they paid for, the professional survey done also. So I think this will be good information, and they had,
They're paying for a survey? Okay. I didn't know that they were doing another one. I'm not getting that impression from
They're-
my source, but okay.
They're working, with Big Village and Fairview, and there's a couple of different surveys
Oh, it's a
out there.
multi-city
Yeah.
survey.
And I think it's 2 different surveys.
yeah.
This is Sherry. The parks had, for their master plan, had some grandiose, big, fat, paid-for thing, and it got maybe at best 2.5% of the population of Troutdale. So to me, those things don't necessarily get, I think, us as more coming in at grassroots, just trying to get this kind of information is getting more to the people. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see, yeah. All right.
Okay. Okay, well, so then that is my thought, is that we would, you guys on board with that idea, that we would keep it open? I just know during the holidays, none of us are gonna look at that, the survey results, and we need to keep it open enough for people to get a chance to respond. But then we basically will analyze the results that we have. We'll say that it's going through the end of the year, or 1st of January, whatever. And then we'll have our meeting and we'll talk about stuff. And then we'll try to formulate whatever we need, what we're gonna present. Maybe if we still need a little prep, at the February meeting, we for sure are ready, and then we go take it to the group right after our meeting. I mean, we gotta get on there, I gotta know that to try to get on their agenda, I guess. The work group, or I don't know, even know. Okay,
I mean, obviously, sorry, this is Sherry. Robbie is able to see from the account those that are actively, I mean, like, once the water bill goes out, he'll be able to see an uptick in surveys. Robbie, is that true?
Yeah, I can see real time when everyone is submitted.
Okay, all right.
okay.
So we'll know if, okay, wow, people are actually doing it, or
Oh, I hope so.
people are self-giving.
Sorry to interrupt. If anybody wants access to the survey, just send me an email and I can add you as an editor. If you have a Google account, that's all you need. So if you have a Google account, I'll add you as an editor, and then you can get in and see the back end. Like Shelby, I'm pretty sure I shared it with that email of yours, so you should be able to get into the back end and see it. But if anybody else does, please let me know.
Thanks, Robbie. I might, but right now, no.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so I think if you guys are all good, I'm gonna move on from that. We kind of gotta keep this going here. Okay, so number 7, we'll move on to discussion on National Night Out. Okay, does anybody have stuff to bring back for that?
Well, before this happened, I was working on a suggestion checklist,
Okay,
but just if we need to start off on something, it's almost like planning a wedding. So you need the date, the time, and the venue. Those are the 3 most important things we need right away. And like I said, Molly is the one that will let us know what dates and times and venues available. And then before the end of the year, and I'll make a checklist and have it for next time if you want. Like the food, the donations, we try and get those before the end of the year because a lot of companies cut off after the end of the year. Like if we want hamburgers and hot dogs, you know, Fred Meyer's, Costco, whatever. And you put in for it now, you don't get it till you have it, but they like to have it for their year. And then we work on the vendors.
Okay, so I called and talked to Marley, and she said that the first thing probably, like you said, is figuring out a date and a time or whatever, but the thing you want to consult is the special events manual that talks about all the stuff, because if we'll have to apply for one of those permits, and then that triggers other permits. So she said, I would still have to do that. I said, well, I think what we're gonna end up proposing is the city is sponsoring this event. So not us, not our committee per se, I mean, us on our committee on behalf of the city. But she said still that's the starting point, is to know then, because that'll trigger various permits, the things that you have to do. So I started thinking a little bit about the potential, I guess, date of it. There's one thing that with our committee changing in July, you know, we potentially change, maybe get new members or whatever. I didn't know if it really made sense to try to do an event in July or August or September when the committee turns over, because we have to get a lot of buy-in. This is, I think, going to be, well, we want it to be a pretty good event, so I think it's going to take all of us to be doing some part of it. So my concern is if the committee turns over, maybe we should be doing this in June before, I don't know. So that was the first thing, talking about a date. What do you guys think on that? I mean,
June is pretty busy because of all the end of school, and then everybody takes off on vacation.
I don't know, all I say is that we do this planning, and then some people don't come back on the committee, and then I just didn't know how
But
that.
it should just pass on to the next committee.
Yeah.
Or
It
no
totally
committee could
should.
ever function if we can't pass it on to the next committee,
Right.
so.
This is Sherry. I think it would behoove us to not just be, you know, them saying public safety is like the responsible. I think that maybe lots of different committees should be sort of involved in the taking on parts of it or something. I only say that because me being responsible for some certain aspect of it is not necessarily very realistic for me in my life, you know, working full time and other responsibilities. It's like, I probably can't cut out one more thing, lay one more thing out there where I'm responsible for an area. I'm more than happy to be a helper.
I think that was just, I guess that was just my concern, is that when I looked at all the stuff involved, they talked about, you know, I think because if the city puts it on, we don't have to have a certificate of insurance. They would, but I have to verify that. I've never put on a big, huge event like this. I've done my own wedding, but that was it. So it just talks about, you know, you have to have a traffic control plan. We have to have porta potties, figure out what's happening with garbage, the fencing, power, security. If there's a PA system, getting the vendors list, you have to keep that. You have to make sure that they've paid all their appropriate fees. I'm just like, okay, this is gonna be huge. So then I said, okay, then I think we all have to be able to do some part or because unless we chose to do a mini event, a smaller event, and don't do all of these things to start with, well, we get our hands around it. So I've not been an events coordinator, so therefore that's what I'm like going, oh my gosh, okay, I think that we need to look at this a little closer. So that's, I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, Twyla, do you have thoughts on this?
I support the event, and I realistically, like others, work full-time and have a lot going on, and so I'm not sure I could commit the time to some of what you are just explaining there. Like, I'm happy to show up and, like I did for that, but everything else was put together, right?
Right.
So that's where I am in my life and ability to jump in right now.
Victoria?
The day of the event, we mainly are just gonna need, if we do food, like somebody to grill the hamburgers and somebody to grill the hot dogs. We don't have to have power if we don't want, we can just have somebody bring their propane grill. That's what they usually do at these.
But it
And
talks about you
then
have to.
all we need is the volunteers, and there's always some husbands out there that wanna grill. When you get the vendors, just call on the vendors is all you need to do. They know what they need to do,
But it says you, as the person doing the special event, you are responsible to make sure that they have done the right things, that they have got their paperwork in, that they've got the
Yeah,
right permits.
Molly usually will look at all that if there's an event.
Okay, so Marley told me that the person who would help me is Kimberly Carl, who would help me go through and make sure that we had all the right permits. I think this is what we should do, okay? This is what I think, that we potentially put together the list of things that what we like to do. I just don't know that it's for sure gonna happen this next year. I'm just trying to be realistic. I felt like, whoa, I don't think we know what we're walking into. And I'm overwhelmed, but I've not done one of these events. So maybe it goes easier. Probably should have tried to talk to the events coordinator at the night out I went to in Wood Village, because perhaps they would have, I know they have their own set of rules, but perhaps they would have said that, well, you really just need a team of these. You need someone to do this. Who's calling on, I do know that apparently if you want to have an event, it can trigger a bunch of other vendors to be contacted. If you're going to hold this special event, the city said if you're going to allow for people to sell stuff, they get notified. The vendors can get notified, I guess, and then Marley indicated that they can, it's part of the network that we put out notices, and then they all suddenly start coming to you. You don't have to contact everybody.
Well,
But
most of them, there was a few people that sold stuff, but most of these are volunteer organizations, nonprofit organizations that are giving out information about resources. So they put up their little tent thing and have their table and pass them out. We don't have to have people that sell things.
no, and I guess I wasn't saying that, that we had to, but I guess that was one of the things that's listed in this special permit. Or special events permit. So I guess
That's more of a farmer's market type thing.
they do, you have to have these permits for all sorts of different things that you do. You have to file these permits.
Most of the nonprofit, you just say, do you know you need to get this permit, and they'll do it. We don't have to do the work for the nonprofit, and then you just say, submit it back to me, or Marley, whatever, whoever wants to have it right away. It's not like we have to do everything. The nonprofits are glad to be there and spread the word about their organization.
I'm sure they are, but there is a
Captain
person.
Asbo said, I think it was Fairview, the one police officer did it all himself,
Well,
from scratch, so.
like I said, I talked to Marley and she said we have to do a special events permit and the triggering of all this. So I feel that it's a big event. So I guess perhaps what we want to do is just come up with the list of things we want, or maybe we need to regroup. I don't know. Okay, what's your opinion, Sherry?
Well, I kind of feel like a little bit of what I said. I've never done anything like this. I've been to him a few times. I just really never organized some major events or anything like that. I'm just usually the person that comes in and does some help at the end, not the big organization of some stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be me committing a lot of time trying to figure something out when there might be, some other people that have already done things that are kind of like it maybe. I think, oh, Diane White, she might have done some stuff sort of like this and have lots of ways to, I don't know. But I just feel like if it's gonna be me committing a bunch of time, I just don't see where that time comes from.
Okay, Twyla.
I wonder, as we're going into negotiations, and building kind of a pact between the three cities, if there might be an opportunity for us the first year to partner, and see if Wood Village or Fairview would want to partner, and then we could they have a stable infrastructure already, and we could be there to kind of learn, but also maybe bring some of the Troutdale resources or any groups that we might have here locally, to make theirs more robust.
This is Mary. I think that's a good idea to maybe piggyback on somebody else's and do a shared Troutdale Fairview Wood Village night out, maybe.
I will say Wood Village it's been going on for years. It's big and it's good. I didn't go to Fairview. Does Fairview did block parties? Was that theirs?
No, they have their own.
Their own. Yeah, I know, but was theirs like a little block parties in various, or did they have one night out?
One night out.
They had one night out, okay.
Oh, but I thought Captain Aspo said that they met in more like neighborhoods, doing things, not all coming in one spot.
I can't remember what he said. Well, it was Fairview that did one way, and I think, do you know?
Mhm.
Okay.
So Fairview does, you could do permits for your neighborhood if you need to close streets or get the park permit in your neighborhood. They also, Fairview uses the park by their city hall, and that's where we'll have all the vendors. River Patrol, we would bring boats there, stuff like that. Wood Village is usually, it's quick, it's a lot quicker than Fairview's. Fairview's goes on for hours. It's a big one.
So in your experience going to the Wood Village one, is your impression that there's a big team of volunteers putting this together, or is there just a couple people?
From my experience, from the sheriff's office involvement, Wood Village it's a quick involvement. I wanna say we're on Halsey around 238. It's literally like a half-hour involvement, and then we'll go, I believe, to the church off of Cherry
Arata.
Park.
Arata.
Yeah, Arata Road, yeah. So it's a lot quicker than Fairview. Fairview's is pretty dialed in. It's a pretty big event.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I know Fairview, you can get permits for your neighborhood, if you just want your neighborhood to get together. If you wanna block off the roads, if you have a park in your neighborhood, actually you can get it all online. Fairview, I believe was August 6th, or July 26th.
It was August 6th.
August 6th, and then, Wood Village was like July 26th,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, you can do your neighborhood, or you can go to the park where they're doing the big event, or the church, like in Wood Village.
Okay, well, I guess where do we stand? Robbie, how do you feel about night out? What are your opinions?
I like the idea of piggybacking. I don't think that we can plan something that big. So I'm on board with that idea.
Okay, so, all right, then I guess I'll try to find out something about Wood Village or Fairview. What do we think? Who do you guys want me to try to pursue, trying to join with, or?
Should we, this Mary, should?
Oh, I'm
uh,
so
go-
sorry. I was just gonna say we have pretty good relationships with Fairview's city management. I know that their city managers in the process of like being appointed at this point, but their city councilors, like our city councilors, have good relationships with them as well. So if we wanted to present to city council or contact Ray or somebody like that, and he will be absolutely be able to put us in touch with Kuzma or any number of the people over there, and I'm sure that they would be more than happy to have us accompany. Sorry to interrupt, Mary.
This Mary, so I was just gonna say, should we, because 2 of our members are not here tonight,
Oh, right, yeah.
should we maybe table this for next
That's a good idea.
meeting? And in the meantime, we can just kind of maybe think individually, think things over a little bit and come up with something and then get their feedback as well.
And perhaps maybe, I mean, you keep mentioning, Victoria keeps saying Molly. So is Molly a better source than Marley is for doing this?
She's the recreation manager.
Yeah, but Marley's our economic development coordinator.
No, she had nothing to do with this type of thing.
Oh, well, she didn't refer me, she didn't
No,
refer me.
it should be Molly. Molly was scheduling into the park, tell you
that's-
what you need
Okay,
and help you with it. I mean,
This is Sherry. Victoria, do you have any connection with whoever organized like the Wood Village one? No, you didn't. I just was thinking that, man, if one of those people could come and maybe present their information, maybe that would give us a better
what's
idea.
involved in what they had to do?
Yeah, I
Okay, well.
just kind of feel like it's,
I mean, it's gonna slow down. I know that we were talked about how we'd like to do it this next year, but like I said, when I got shocked at how much stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, this might be such a big undertaking. Okay, so I will see if I could even get somebody to come talk to us about it next month. I don't even know. I don't even know if that's a possibility. I'll just ask. It couldn't hurt to ask, right?
Yeah.
and they, even if they don't want to come in, if they'd be willing to join via a Zoom or
Zoom and
something,
just
give us,
Yeah, a little rundown on this, because I
yeah,
think we want to understand. I think that we all like the idea, but I think that we're getting worried that this is going to overwhelm us and take so much of our spare time, so.
yeah.
Okay, I think gotta move on, just gotta get through this. So next item on the agenda, define community goals. Did everybody come prepared with some goals that we wanted to see accomplished? Victoria?
hey, I have a short-term goal, and I wish Carol was here because she's really passionate about this. It's from Parks. The Imagination Station matting is in really, really bad shape. And we can't get the budget to get it fixed properly. And I was just thinking, should we maybe present a letter to city council saying it's great concern of a lot of the people that go there. And could be a lawsuit waiting to happen, I don't know. But, I mean, the parks do their best to patch it up, but it needs a good overhaul. And we had money in the budget and then it disappeared. Well, part of it did. And I do not remember. It must have happened after we passed the initial budget. But anyway, I was just thinking maybe short-term goal, maybe present something to the council about that. And then my other two, and these are big, so you might not want to do them. They're not that big, we don't have to do a lot. And this was Carol's idea too, getting a CERT program started. Mainly you need a sponsor. And then you need to contact CERT to get some instructors, and then you need some people that want to do it. And this is for if there's any kind of disaster. And then, I mean, the police and fire are great, but if we really had a big disaster, they're gonna be stretched over all those cities. So it's nice if you have someone like in your neighborhood that knows what they're doing. And like I said, everything's online about how to start a CERT program. We just need a sponsor, and it can be fire, police, city council, that type of thing. And the other thing, we don't have to do much with this, except make sure, and Roger knows, get those cadet and explorer going again for the kids. The fire cadets and the,
Didn't Woodrow get those going though, or no, is it just?
Starting.
It's just barely starting?
yeah.
So, but he does have it going, or do we need to do, there's something else you think we need to do too? We need to
Well, maybe
support it,
promote it.
promote it, okay.
I don't know if the explorers got going. Gresham does have the cadet program going. Did Montgomery County get explorers going again?
No,
No? Are they
we
thinking
have,
about it?
we have volunteers for search and rescue, very large search and rescue volunteers, but we don't do exploring.
You don't do? Right. But there's another, I did see the kids at Night Out at Maywood from the search and rescue. So
Okay.
there's another thing we could promote. I love
Okay.
the explorers. Clackamas County has a really good one.
Okay, so those are your goals, let's see, Twyla.
I would say my only goal is, with our new council coming in, where it's gonna be, quite a few new people. I think it would be good for us to get in front of them, do a presentation, maybe share some of the work we've done, and then, let them know things that they might, task us with also, so that we have, a good back and forth flow, and they have a good foundation of what we're doing.
Okay. How about you, Mary?
I think that the CERT is a really good idea. I do think it might entail a lot of work, but I think it's doable, and, you know, it can always be projected to have a goal date a little farther back, obviously, because right now we're trying to tackle a few other things, but I think that should be on the top of the list too.
Good.
And I do like Victoria's, about the matting at
Oh,
the
yeah,
information
short-term goal.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sherry?
I will say it till the day I die, the survey, the survey, the survey. No, what I wrote here too was, I would like to see public input at our meetings. So, not that I want there to be a ton of concerns that people feel like, oh my gosh, things are going terrible and they have to come talk, but more like, I don't know, just even good things or whatever, just giving people feeling, knowing we're here and can, you know, let us know about things. So that CERT, of course, because I totally agree with that. I think I misunderstood last time because I was thinking Captain Asbo had indicated too, there might be grant money that would come for a CERT training thing. Does that sound like that would
When
be?
you say CERT training, what is the acronym of CERT?
Oh, a community emergency response team.
They have.
In my day, it was called NERT, Neighborhood Emergency Response Training.
They have them almost in every city in Clackamas County, and we only have one in Multnomah, and that's Portland.
Well, Multnomah County has an emergency management team.
But we
I'm
want
actually part of the emergency management.
Okay, well, so the idea behind it was when I took one before in Gresham years ago, and I think Carol might have done it, and I don't know if anybody else, but it was like, I think 8 or so different weeks that we met. We met like on a Tuesday night for 3 hours or something like that, just volunteer. And we just got information on, and then a few supplies or something too, but on if we were to have a major earthquake, and these power lines are down and the roads are not passable, hey, you might be the like captain in your neighborhood, and you're gonna go around and kind of triage your neighborhood, you know, and you know, everybody has a sign, and put up the green sign saying you're okay, or the red sign saying you're not okay, things like that. And it was just a whole list of different things on, you know, kind of ways you could help making your neighborhood better. And that's before now everybody has like 2-week supply boxes, but that was when it was the 72-hour, have your box with your clothes and all that kind of stuff. So anyway.
But
Oh, I just wanted to mention that on the calendar of events, there is a disaster preparedness seminar on November 20th, and I know that's not what we want, but I had planned on attending that. It does have Multnomah County will be there with Ray facilitating it, but it might be a good chance, it's free, for those who want, like us, for us to go and express the need. And so get on board with the first training and tell them we want more, something like a cert.
Okay.
And I plan on going to that. You can register from the city website.
excellent, thank you.
November 20th is the
It's-
third Wednesday of the
it's
month.
Parks.
I got a meeting.
Well, we can ask him to.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
Robbie,
Oh, sorry.
Sherry, were you not done, sorry?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, so the cert or whatever we're calling it, and then, I only wanna say, yes, I agree that the stuff up at Imagination Station needs to be repaired, but we did find out it wasn't the 40 or 50,000, it really is 100,000 they're having to work with in this budget.
But now 50 of it was gone. And remember at the last meeting?
The last meeting, 50 of it came back that was identified. That's what Tammy Stephenson testified to. That's what I'm saying, it's 100, and it was listed as 50 though, or 40 the whole time, and, oh, it's 50, and then it became 100. That's what I'm saying, that, so yes,
The cost of it is, or that
No.
is missing?
that's what's
Budgeted,
available.
That's what's budgeted.
We were told there was only 50,000 available, and it wasn't gonna be enough to do anything, really. But no, there's really 100,000 available.
But that's what we approved, and then all of a sudden it showed up as 50.
That's just from his perspective, it never changed otherwise. The budget was 100,
Well,
never
let me look at
changed.
the budget.
It was misunderstanding or something.
But I do understand that to repair or to redo the whole thing, since the contractor is no longer, it's a lot more than that, but, I mean,
But as,
I don't think the city can manufacture money.
okay, Robbie, what are your goals?
I've heard a lot of really good goals here today, and I'm not going to add to our plate. So I think that we've got a lot of good stuff to accomplish, and we'll leave it there.
Okay, okay. And, okay, so comes around to me, and look, I think you guys, I think I had basically get the survey out in November. We meet in, commit to analyze the results in January, and finalize it by February. And for sure, it's just got to be out the door by our February meeting to wherever. And yeah, and if we want to do a night out, develop it, and if feasible, put it, okay, that was something else, I was just talking about the date of it. So yes, you guys already pretty much covered, it's only if we want to do night out, so I guess we'll, that seems like it's kind of slid on people's goals, so I don't have to have it on there. Okay, I think we'll put this list together, but let's see, first of all, does anyone want to make a motion about doing the short-term goal? If everybody's in favor, we can do something on that, and if you're not really ready to do anything on the short-term goal of encouraging city council to make it a priority to I don't know what they could do to try to help get Imagination Station fixed sooner. Do you guys want to do anything on that, or do you want to not? We don't have to do a motion, I'm just. Nobody's.
I'd like to marinate on that.
Okay, okay. All right, then that's good. Let's just move on. Next month's agenda, I guess we'll talk about the survey again. And perhaps we'll summarize our goals. We'll have our goals summarized, and maybe I'll have a presentation from Wood Village or Fairview. Who did I say I was contacting? Oh, Wood Village presentation.
And maybe, oh, I was thinking there might be something additional on
Drones.
drones or something, but maybe not.
Would she be, no, she'd just be answering the question, and so we wouldn't need anything else. Okay.
Okay.
How about, let's see, the next meeting, November 7th, 6:30, is that good with everybody? Good with you, Robbie?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, let's start with committee member comments. How about you, Robbie? You can go first tonight.
I don't really have a lot. Good work, everybody, on putting together the booth at the first Friday. To those of you who are there, and Woodrow, who's not here, but thank you to his spirit, who is, I'm sure, listening. But otherwise, yeah, excited for the next meeting. I'll go ahead and put together the survey and shoot it out over email. Otherwise, if anybody wants me to share it with them, please do contact me and let me know. Happy to do so. But yeah, thank you.
Good. All right, Sherry.
Good meeting, thanks. That's it.
All right, Mary?
Yeah, I just want to thank Robbie for doing that, and thank you everybody else for your input, and hello and welcome to Captain Evans again.
Twyla.
Yes, glad you're back, Captain Bevins. It's good to have your perspective, and thank you for bringing along the presenter. It's always nice to get a little extra on what's happening, and that's all.
Okay, Victoria.
Okay, you're right, it is still in there, 100,000, so, but I think we need quite a bit more.
Yes.
But maybe they can find it, because it's so bad, and if we fixed it that way, the cheap way, it's just gonna be bad again in a year or two. So I don't know if we can, at least we'll give our opinion. And then the only other thing I had, Twyla already said the disaster class, so.
Did you register?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay, well, I think I have nothing else other than super appreciation, Twyla and Carol and Woodrow for the end, but the two of you in the heat being there, I really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate, Robbie, you putting together this survey online, getting an online version for us. That's really great. So with that, welcome, Captain Evans. Thank you very much for being here. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Somebody.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Are you done?
This is Sherry, I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.